Thank you, Mr. Rakpati. My colleague panelists, Mr. Rangnath, Mr. Manoj, and Mr. Brotin Banerjee, ladies and gentlemen. I think we already had a very good introduction to the session, and especially the words spoken on a smart city and what exactly is a smart city. I won't attempt to define what is a smart city. And maybe some of my colleagues will do, and many of you will have your own ideas. I am here basically to talk few minutes on what exactly is government doing or government thinking, and how we are looking at partnering with different sections of society in which industry and other stakeholders play a very, very major role. I have some slides, but I am not going to get into details of many of these slides. I will be just flagging certain issues and try to close the presentation as quickly as possible so that we have little more time left for discussion and interaction. I mean, this one I am basically just trying to bring to the notice of all of you, and all of you are quite aware. We are moving into the Habitat 3 conference globally, which will be taking place in 2016, and all over the globe, every country is looking at its own urban agenda and what is the urban agenda for the future. So keeping that particular thing in mind, Government of India also has come up with a large number of new missions. I am just going to enumerate, we cannot really get into details of these missions, but the first mission, the Amrut, this is basically looking at 500 class 1. Class 1 we define as the cities with a population of 1 lakh and above. So some of these cities, some of these urban local bodies are very critical. And if you look at the statistics, the growth of urbanization is much faster in these cities. So the Government of India tries to directly get into the act and then get involved in these 500 cities. Then we have got, and primary purpose is improve infrastructure. Then we have a smart cities, we will talk about it little later. Then the third mission is housing for all urban, that is called Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. These three missions were also launched on the same day by the Honorable Prime Minister on 25th June. So I think housing, a smart governance, a smart city, plus overall infrastructure development through Amrut. So the three missions go quite close to each other, and maybe we will have a time to discuss about that. In addition, this was launched much earlier, Swachh Bharat mission is there, and then we have got another mission very specific to some of the heritage cities, that is called Hriday, and then this National Urban Livelihood Mission is already going on. And then again, something to keep in mind, the urban agenda or the new urban agenda cannot be just directly done by the Urban Development Ministry programs or Housing Ministry programs. So that's why you have got so many other departments, so many other sectors joining hands, like Skill India, Digital India, and these so many other missions are also there, including the river rejuvenation programs, because ultimately river cleaning has got to do a lot with the urban cleaning and the city cleaning. Now this is an attempt to bring a picture of a smart city. If you look at, I am going to talk more about the affordable housing, which is the sector where I am working, but if you look at it, it's a combination of a large number of things, and it's not just ICT. Of course, ICT plays a very, very important role if you look at the IT connectivity or e-governance or citizens participation, and IT can play a major role in implementation of many of the other infrastructure sectors also in this. So this is where we are looking at. The idea is improve quality of life, look for smart solutions to the problems, and then create physical infrastructures which are really top class. Social infrastructure need not be forgotten, because often we spend a lot of our money and energy in the construction sector, forgetting the software or social sector, and then economic infrastructure. So this is a kind of environment, this is a kind of overall picture which we are looking at the smart cities, and then technology will play a major role in it, but it cannot be only technology. It is a set of, it is a combination of a large number of ideas. Now here again, we need not see each and everything. If you look at the smart city mission also identifies certain core infrastructure. Again, something from the previous slide, but again written in a very clear sense, in which affordable housing is one of the core infrastructure. Apart from that, you have sanitation, drinking water, solid waste management, mobility, transportation. I think some of the other panelists are going to talk a little bit more on some of these issues. This is again just to tell you that the predominant model in the smart cities area development models, like we pick up a kind of limited area, either by way of retrofitting, city improvement or redevelopment of an area, or develop a city as a kind of greenfield project. But if you look at the right side, apart from this area-based approach, in some of the smart cities, you will also have some pan-city features. Maybe we pick up a limited area or a specified area within an existing city and develop that as a smart city. However, in that whole city also there will be some improvement done in a particular functional area. It may be connectivity, or it may be safety, it may be some other kind of aspect. So apart from area-based models, we are also talking about some pan-city components or some segments where we will do. Apply smart solutions. Sustainability, I think it was already flagged very nicely about the green buildings, and then so sustainability will be looked at in a very, very innovative way. And most important thing is, because all of you are aware that we are talking of 100 smart cities. Naturally, we have a very large number of cities in our country, so ultimately you have to start somewhere, and they have to set a kind of a standard. They have to be a model which can be replicated. So sometimes slowly some of the cities which are Amrit Mission cities may again embark upon a journey to become a smart city. Now few minutes I will talk little more especially about the housing. This again, I think many of you are aware. We had assessed the shortage of housing, and then the shortage of housing has been assessed at 18.78 19-20 million housing shortage. And something which is very, very important, and something which is very, very critical from point of view of all of us, is 96%, 95%, 96% of this shortage belongs to economically weaker section and low income group. So you have a very unique situation. You have a large number of houses which are unoccupied, constructed houses, and you also have a huge shortage of housing. So somewhere these two things have to be addressed and then matched. Again, we need not get into the details of this. Just to tell you, the Housing for All mission is having 4 verticals. 2 of the verticals, if you look at, in situ slum and then affordable housing in partnership. These are again a kind of project-based, area-based approach, whereas the other 2, credit link subsidy and subsidy for the beneficiaries, are more looking at the individual's needs. So there we are looking at scattered houses, people coming up, whereas in the first and second component we are looking at a particular slum, it has to be redeveloped. Or a project comes up in the PPP mode with a developer, and then that comes under affordable housing in partnership. The developer, it can be a public sector, it can be a private sector. So the first and third vertical, if you look at, there is a great role envisaged for the private sector industry to play. This perhaps we need not say. 1 or 2 other important things. The credit linked subsidy scheme I would like to highlight. I mean, the income limit has been raised by the government in this mission to raise it from, for the LIG, the income limit is 6 lakhs rupees per annum. So roughly 50,000 rupees per month is the income. Then for the economically weaker section, it is 3 lakhs. Similarly, there is a big catalytic impact we are envisaging in the credit linked subsidy, because we are giving subsidy for the interest to the extent of 6.5%. which was never done earlier. It used to 1%, 2%, a very marginal subsidy or marginal relief used to be given to the common person, whereas now government is subsidizing the interest burden to the extent of 6.5%. Why we have done it? The prime target is we want to create a huge demand in the sector, because that demand will be able to really become a kind of growth engine and then generate lot of interest among investors to come into this segment. Because once the demand is generated, if you construct a project, perhaps you already know it will be sold in this sector. I don't think we will have a big challenge in selling off these units if they are really in the affordable sector. This we need not get into details, except saying that the last two things, we are also working with the technology submission in this mission, where lot of role of the developers, construction sector and industry is envisaged, where we are also looking at improved technology, prefab technology, the how to construct houses at a faster pace. And then the last one, perhaps we will cover a lot of it during our discussion, a lot of reforms, primarily This we will just brush through. The idea is, in the ministry, we are looking at the ownership housing, the left side. Then we are also very much alive to the rental housing sector, which has been neglected. So again, that's a sector where a lot of ideas can come. We look forward to interaction like this and can get some. We are in the process of developing a rental housing policy, and then we will be putting some of the draft ideas very soon on our website, and we request all of you to contribute your suggestions, advice, so that this policy can be developed. And then the livelihood I have written, because the skill is a big issue. When you are looking at constructing 2 crore houses, such a huge number, who will construct? Where is the expertise? Where are the numbers? If you have the workers, are they skilled enough? So that mission under NULM or Skill India mission is going to have a big role to play in success of housing for all. So that's again gets connected with our this thing. And then in the end, I am basically saying that we have to look at, I mean, that's where perhaps we will have some discussion and some of the suggestions we look forward. We are coming up with number of policies. Often what happens, we come up with a program without policy support. So what we are trying to do is, we should also be developing a good, robust policy at Government of India level and also at the state level, because the action really lies at the state level. So we are looking at some of these policy. I already mentioned about the affordable housing policy, rental housing policy. This is again very important, because along with this we have taken up, see, everything is not in the domain of one ministry, so we have to interact with the Ministry of Finance, and number of things have already happened. Many things are on the agenda. Infrastructure status for the affordable housing sector is very much being pursued by us. Then demand and supply side, how to support the external commercial borrowing, FDI, a lot of relaxation, etc. has come. Many more are the demand from the sector, which our ministry has been taking it up. Then perhaps this is something very important, because the improvement of governance is one of the major challenge. I'm quite sure from Tata Housing he is going to answer this, because he will share his own experiences. If you are coming up in the affordable housing sector, your permission, your approvals have to be very fast. And I think maybe we'll cover in detail what we are doing if during discussion. We have taken up this as a kind of mandatory reform in the Housing for All. This is also one of the mandatory reform under Amrut, that states will have to improve the ease of doing business and then give these permissions as quickly as possible. And that's where again a huge role of automation and IT is there, because we want to ultimately move to a situation where most of the things can be done in the automated fashion by use of IT, by use of GIS on a very, very large scale. So that's again something which is there. And then we have talked quite big things. Ultimately, where is the capacity? You are looking at an ULB which has to do so many things. Here we have so many ministries working together, but ultimately if you look at the city, the municipal commissioner or the ULB, the city manager is the one who has to implement so many things. So that capacity building is important. Capacity building in terms of technology, the low cost construction, safe construction, disaster resistant construction, all these things are there, and then maybe what we are doing we can discuss again in detail. And then we have got number of organizations within the ministry. Our ministry as well as Urban Development Ministry, we are trying to give some role to them in this massive task. But apart from the organizations which are already with us, we are also looking forward, and we have been actually participating in many of the consultation process, and we have organized some of the consultation process with different sector, with different ministries. And then that's where perhaps interaction like this we really look forward to, because all the 3 missions are in the very, very initial stage. June last week they have been launched. We are in the month of September. A lot of progress has been made by different missions. Even in Housing for All, we have got already identified more than 450 ULBs. 15 states have signed MOA. The moment they sign MOA means they have in principle agreed to many of the reforms, which must be the cause of concern in your mind. So I think we have moved within 3 months, less than 3 months, quite a lot, but we understand the challenge is quite huge. What we are aiming at is perhaps most ambitious housing program we have done. If you look at the previous experience, in about 10 years time, we could construct something like 10 lakhs or slightly above 10 lakhs houses. And we are now putting before us a target of constructing at least 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs houses in a year. So I think you just see the kind of challenges we are putting before us. And us, I don't mean only government, because all these programs, the resources, the different kinds of things which will come will be very limited, and as I told you, the major part of Housing for All emphasizes a huge private participation and generation of resources. So these are some of the things which are happening. I am looking forward to interaction, and excuse me if I took little longer, but I thought I will just give you what we have been attempting and what government is expecting from gathering like this, from a group like this. Thank you.